What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I hope y'all all having a fantastic weekend so far. Today I have this absolutely horrifying battle of horror characters. It's gonna be between true form It from the novels taking on Composite Zalgo from Creepypasta, Fearverse, and Slenderverse. If you're not aware of these two characters, please feel free to check out the two separate How Strong Is videos I've released of these characters. It'll give you a brief rundown, but or you can just listen to the whole video because I'll do the same thing here. But sit back and enjoy, and let's get started. In terms of biography, It is a being of pure, indescribable, incomprehensible power, who seeks only one thing: to feed upon anything and everything. Power. It, in its true nature, is more powerful than the idea of size. Keep in mind, the idea of size is the concept of knowing how powerful something is. The Dark Towers contain every concept, thought, time, and size, and Pennywise scales above this. It was only bounded by the stories when it entered the Stephen King verse, but in its true nature, it's completely boundless in power. Yeah, in its true nature, it is outside the stories and has complete and utter boundless power even to the authors and the narratives. Stephen King himself has stated that every time he writes, he is terrified because he has to constantly write more and more narratives and stories just to keep it away from him, because he will die if it reaches him. Anytime a story is being written, told, or a concept is conceived, it is always going to be there and will feed upon that. It is above the idea of transcendence of anything. The only time it is bound to anything is when it chooses to enter the said story and narrative. Speed. Beyond irrelevant speed, it can cross into narratives instantly and devour them. It's beyond narratives and the writer's control. Durability. It can casually tank the collapse of the Dark Towers, which contains every concept and narrative in the verse. It cannot be harmed by any means unless it subjects itself to the story and narrative. Stephen King cannot do any harm to it. All he can do is use the story to protect him and pray that it's enough. Hacks and gear. It is beyond narratives and their manipulation. It is beyond description of any level and literally exists in every concept, narrative, and story that can, has, or ever will be written. Power scale. It is above the Dark Towers, which includes the idea of being stronger and transcending something, and can consume narratives and can kill the readers and authors. So this is obviously infinite layers into Outerversal. Okay, now onto Zalgo. Biography. Zalgo is the incarnation of fear and chaos, who seeks destruction and pure chaos. Power. His blatant power is enough to annihilate the Creepypasta multiverse, which has infinite dimensions and is completely limitless in its true potential. The true terrifying nature of Zalgo isn't just his power in the normal verse, but in his composite form. With his destruction hacks, his influence and power drifts into the real world, crossing high outerversal distances and transcendence, with the nature of his power not being limited by his own verse. Speed. Zalgo has high outerversal existence and layers into irrelevant speed, which makes it meaningless. Durability. He can tank the multiverse collapsing around him, and go to the real world. He cannot be killed as long as concepts such as chaos, fear, exist in the real world. Hexing gear. Zalgo's abilities consist of dark magic, soul negation, fictional transcendence, death control, chaos and fear manipulation on a high universal range. It's stated that if anyone were to look upon Zalgo in his true nature, they would die and become disfigured without him even doing anything. Power scale. Zalgo in his composite form is layers into outer versal of transcendence and destruction. So, if these two incomprehensible, indescribable beings were to battle, how do I see it playing out? Well, I'm going to be honest with y'all. At first, when I first started doing this one, I really didn't think either one could beat the other. I'm being honest. At first, I saw this one as a stalemate. But going into more detail, I think I'm comfortable with saying it wins this one. Because, I mean, sure, Zalgo transcends fiction on his own level. Like, he transcends multiple verses and drifts into the real world. Like, he has influence and power in the real world. But Pennywise has that and more. Like, he can literally kill the authors. He can eat stories, like, in concepts, even in the real world. Like, he's not bound by fiction on any level, unless he puts himself in the verse. So, in-verse Pennywise versus Zalgo, I think that's a stalemate. Neither one could really do much to the other. But if we look at them at their true power, at their true utmost limitless potential, Zalgo just doesn't stack up to true form it on that level. And for that reason, I think true form it takes this victory. But this was a very difficult matchup for me to decide, because, like I said, at the end, I was really at a loss for how I thought this would play out. But I'm pretty comfortable in this one. But I really hope y'all enjoyed this one. I absolutely loved doing this one, is because it's just taking two absolutely broken OP characters that are that strong for just no reason in horror, and just put them against each other and see who will win. But let me know what you think about it in the comments below. And feel free to also suggest your battle request. And anyway, guys, thank y'all so much for listening to this. Stay safe, and I'll talk to y'all later.